Welcome back, folks, to Final Fantasy XI. It has been some time, and this particular stream has been delayed and delayed and delayed due to, well, frankly, my throat just not filling up for the constant voice acting needed for it during those particular days, and that sucks dramatically. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy Final Fantasy XI playing through the story, and I enjoy the voice acting. It's just my voice doesn't always agree. But when it's not on Sundays or Mondays, it's not on Mondays. It's not that big of a deal. It's less of a big deal. Still toying around with the idea of a Monday stream, and if it does happen, it's likely going to be Turok 2, which is the current game I'm going to stick at least Turok 2 in before October, because October is Spooktober, which I believe is the main game. There's going to be Resident Evil 8. I'll have to double check to see whether or not I even have that. I believe I do. I've got several Resident Evil games, so it's we're not. Yeah, I've got 8 I don't have. Oh, that's an unusual decision on my part. But I have 0, 2, the original 4, 5, 6. And both Revelations. I thought I owned 8. Weird. Huh. Huh. I don't own 8, but it is on sale, so I might just pick that up at some point. That would not be a bad idea. It's the only one I don't own. And that, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Well, regardless, I'll have a look at that later. In the meantime, we have a story to continue. We're currently 33 missions into a 48 mission streak, into 48 mission expansion. We're not going to be able to cover, I'm going to tell you this right now, the epilogue for Treasures of Ottergon is not anything I'm going to be able to cover, because it is quite literally 12 missions, 12 fights with both bosses. And the most annoying thing is you have to wait for a Japanese reset. A Japanese midnight reset. Which means literally we could do them like once a week for 12 weeks, and that in order to try and get what little epilogue story is going to happen, that's not going to work. Like, that's just not going to work. I'm looking at these missions and trying to figure out how many of them we can legitimately get through. And again, a lot of these missions are requiring you to very specifically there's like 3 or 4 of them that have wait for the next in-game day. And I believe after this first one, it'll be mission 38. And we're on 33, so 5 missions from now. And then mission 40 requires one immediately after 39. Same location, so that's another one of those annoying ones that you're going to have to wait another in-game day for. So there's 2. I think it's just the 2. Yeah, it's just those 2 missions. Yeah, it's just the 2 in-game day missions, so we're actually really close to being able to complete it. Well, Nadja, we have some talking to do. Spin, spin, while load. I knew you'd be showing your face sooner or later, Arachnios. So, how goes our little project? Surely, you haven't let the most important mission in the history of this company slip your mind? Of course not. Well, all right then, private second-class Arachnios. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. But you gotta understand, capturing Duzov the Black Belly is the greatest thing this company will ever accomplish. Now that I know we're on the same page, I can fill you in on something interesting I've noticed. Aquiba!
Yes, ma'am?
Is the office clear visitors?
Yes, you can speak freely, President Nadja.
Excellent. You see, when I had Aquiba marking all the Duzov sightings on the map, that's when I began to notice a pattern. All the sightings were made near the coast, especially places where it was easy to land a ship. It's got me thinking about the rumors floating around the port, and the true identity of this Duzov. My guess is this villain is none other than Luzov the Blackheart.
Stunning powers of deductions there, Nadja. Absolutely stunning.
It's the barista clipping. Well, I'm not 100% certain in any case. If I were to send the combined forces of Salahim Sentinels against the wrong target, explain the current financial state of the company to Rachnios here.
Ma'am, gathering this intelligence required mercenary dispatches to every corner of Artertkan, not to mention the fattening of the purses of certain Kikwern information dealers. The expense has been horrendous. Salim Sentinels just doesn't have the budget to fund another intelligence gathering mission.
There you see it. We can't afford to make any mistakes. And that's where you come in. This wouldn't be the first time you've slunk aboard the Black Coffin, right? The Empress was ever so grateful after that last mission. Her magnificence even rewarded you with this glory crown. You know your way around the deck of that ship, I'm sure. That's why it'll be your job to track down the Black Coffin. I need you to find out if my suspicions are correct. Are you on board?
Just try and stop me.
Spoken like a true Salahim sentinel. Oh, and don't forget you will need the coin to pay your way into the cutter. I seem to remember ya telling me about some greedy spirit. Listen up. The future of this company is riding on the success of this mission. Get me the proof I need. Then I can mobilize the might of the Sentinels and hold in Duzov by his pointy ears. Lose off. And still he sleeps. At least the nightmares seem to have stopped. Do creatures of the underworld even have nightmares? I don't really know. I'm sure Luzov has seen hardships that would haunt any person's mind. Such a troubled soul.
How fares the Admiral?
He seems to have calmed a little.
Thanks to your vigilant care.
Why now? With the Age of Judgment so close. Is something amiss?
Idle musings. Nothing more. Please inform me if there's any change in his condition.
We shall.
I'll be on the deck.
Yeah.
Uzaf! The Age of Judgment. I must rise.
Luzov. Luzov and Odin. Luzov and Odin. Or should I say the current possessor of Odin. And then we have Rauban and the former crown prince. And Alexander. Things are getting very, very complicated very, very quickly. I suppose that is to be expected. What do you have? Merglis. And a Kraken Club. Of course you'd have a Kraken Club. The Merglis. And an Uller. And an Uller. And a Chapliero. Huh. He's got an interesting set of gear on him. It's not the most strongest gear. It's got some mix of relic and ambuscade gear. Dilbrat. Then Lecco. Just looking at the gear sometimes, it's always interesting sometimes to see what gear people have on them. Let us use Imperial Standing to go to Vuka? Yeah, Vuka. It's always fun to see where the game will take us. It's always interesting to see where the story goes, too, because the Empress being as attached to Luzov as she is, that's a bit of an unusual decision on her part. And we go to G9. Draugrs. I definitely would not have expected the princess to be, I don't want to say infatuated, because she's not really infatuated. She is just... that dark elemental was being weird. She is being agreeable to him, and that's kind of unusual. Like, very, very unusual on her part. You wouldn't expect her to be. It's probably this one's the one we're looking for. I mean, I'll know for sure once I get in here. 'Cause I don't think I've taken this particular route to the cutter. Pretty sure I've always taken the other route to the cutter. It's accurate. Once again I've lost the healer trust. Sometime between Saturday and today, the math did not math in my favor. which I suppose is fine. It's not. Sometimes when you lose the most important healer in the game, it's like, I was looking to do some ambuscade this week, but now I've got to grind up a whole bunch of other garbage in order to even be able to handle that. Curses! Curses this game and its weird, unusual systems and taxes on resources. You've returned to this haunted place. Such bravery. You seek to make another foray into the coffin, black and foreboding? I do. The Ephraim gold coin you hold will pay your fare. My cutter will bear you to the coffin you seek. Farewell. What an unusual ghost she truly is. What are you gonna do with her, boss? His maleficence awaits. Off the girl, and let's go on with the ceremony in Hazhome. We are done, Admiral. I'm tired of cleaning already. That's what you get for sending a snob to do a swab's job. You do us a disservice, Mr. Flit. The deck is swept and scrubbed. That man was only supervising, though. Shush. Well then, for your next chore...
Enough, Flit. I must speak with our guests in private.
Oh, the Admiral desires our exclusive company. But we weren't done talking.
Flit, do not make me repeat myself.
Aye, Captain. You're the boss. How's you feeling?
Much recovered. I was told you stayed at my bedside throughout the night. I am grateful.
It was nothing. But now that you know...
That you're the Empress?
Yes.
In the past, you would have lain slain at my feet. Don't be concerned. Such a petty act of vengeance no longer stirs my heart.
Usaf?
I was once the crown prince of Ephemerad. My kingdom was destroyed by the Empire of Outer Khan while I studied in distant lands. I would not yield to imperial conquerors,
and forged the remnants of the Ephraimian navy into a rebel force, the Corsairs. Our battles with the Empire raged day after day after day. And then, during the course of a single night, the entire Corsair fleet was annihilated at the hands of Lamia as the ship slept in port. Lamia under control of the Imperial Army. The Black Coffin, the only ship to escape the massacre, was ambushed by Imperial war galleys and sent to the ocean floor. That is the story of my death. Are you really dead? A ghost? A ghost? I suppose I am. But you appear as a living being. A solid to the touch. I don't think you could call this existence living. What do you mean? Even now, I'm irrevocably chained to the underworld. Does this have something to do with that shadow in Purqua? The shadow? Yes, that form will be my fate, as ordained by Odin, my mortal lord. The form of the Dark Rider? You miss little, I see. As the violent throes of the battered coffin threw me over the side and I sank into the dark, cold waters of oblivion, I made a plea to the Dark God. Great Odin, guardian of the kingdom of Ephraimad, I beseech thee. If it is but one swing of my blade, grant me the chance for revenge. It was then that Odin appeared before me. He spoke to me thus. When the age of judgment draws near, I shall grant thy wish. But once thy revenge is complete, thou shalt destroy mine enemy, Alexander. Alexander? The legendary savior who will be reborn in the body of the Iron Giant in the hour of the Empire's greatest need. I'm well aware of the legend. It's the reason I forged this pact. The chance for revenge against the Empire. The desire consumed my very being. The next time I woke, I found myself upon the deck of the Black Coffin, afloat at sea. It was as if I had merely slept, albeit for long years. 200 years. Isn't that right? Yes. To prepare for my war against the Empire, I joined forces with the Beastmen. Then, I searched for the automatons, the keys to manipulating the Iron Giant. But I eventually realized, or should I say, was made forced to realize, my seething wrath was for an emperor that destroyed my kingdom, and the empire he ruled during my living years. That empire no longer exists. And you, Aphma, are not the one against whom I seek revenge. Am I not pitiful? A vengeful shade that has lost his taste for vengeance. You are pitiful. What? You still have a chance to rebuild the kingdom of Ephraimad. But I I learned a lot living at the temple. The descendants of Ephraimad still yearn for the age when their kingdom yet flourished. There are those who still fight for such a reality. You can help them find a path to the kingdom of their dreams. The people of Ephraimad survived? But this path you speak of will not lead to conflict and bloodshed with the Empire, plunging all once again into the flames of war? Admiral, Prince Luzov, have you forgotten with whom you speak? Leave the Empire to us.
You are right. And I'm still a Corsair. I'll take a gamble on this fool's venture.
That's the spirit. You must undo this pact with Odin as soon as possible.
Yes. I must seek audience with my Dark Lord.
Please, boss. The tears won't stop.
Flit.
Giving up on the revenge business, that's your call. But your crew has been restored, and your ship raised from the ocean floor. The pact must be honored. Your path lies in one direction only. To Hazholm, and an existence as the new Dark Rider, incarnation of the great Odin. If you renege on the deal, you know what awaits you and your crew, right? Hazholm? What's he talking about? Oh, what a tragedy. A real shame it is. The poor little Empress floundering in the dark. You spent too much energy playing the part of a puppet master. You never noticed the Grand Vizier was pulling your strings. How dare you!
Enough, Flit.
Went a bit too far there, didn't I? How about I make it up by teaching you about Hazholm? It was the site of your four alchemical experiments that pushed the limits of reason. The reckless fools eventually ripped the very fabric of reality and opened a door to Odin's domain. Without even knocking, I might add. Of course, we've been using that tear as a shortcut into this world.
You have made your point. Let us proceed to Hazholm.
Yes, proceed. No other choice, really. Are you serious about this, Admiral?
I will present myself before Odin and nullify the pact.
Yes, nullify. No other Hold on. What's this talk about nullifying? Are you sure, Luzov?
I am sure. Fate's grip is strong, but we are the masters of our own destiny. You taught me that.
Me?
When I look at you, I feel as I did in my younger days. I remember what it is to hope. There were so many things I didn't know back then. So many things I wanted to learn. Half Mao, you were searching for a way to save your empire. A way to save your citizens from despair and misery. To do that you seek to uncover the truth behind the world in which you live.
I do, but...
Afmao. Neshmera. You must come with me. Come to Hasholm. Then you shall behold the truth with your own eyes.
I will go with you. There's some things in this world better left unknown.
Admiral,
What is it?
the ship appears to have picked up another rat.
Rachnios!
You know this intruder?
That man is my private mercenary. Please, stay your blades. But why? Why are you here?
To be honest, it's to find Luzov. To what end?
Oh, Rachnios, you shouldn't jest.
Your link pearl should be confiscated. Should have been confiscated. Did you call this mercenary?
Huh? Right. Yes. I called him to act as my bodyguard. Isn't that right, Nenging? Right. The old message in a bottle trick. Where did these meddlers come from?
Do you expect me to swallow that story?
But this works out perfectly, boss. You need help if you mean to rebuild your kingdom. The Ephradian treasure you recovered from the Empire is still stashed in Telakata Cove. And there have been those immortals sniffing about lately.
Immortals? It matters not. The treasure is veiled by a powerful spell of concealment. The only way to pierce the illusion is with a precipitant eye. And you and I possess the only two in existence.
Right. That's a great spell. Fantastic. But who knows what those immortals are capable of? There's no guarantee they haven't sucked up some crazy sensory abilities from some hapless creature. That's why we need Rachnios. And Telaka Cove, it just happens to be on the way to Hasholm. If you give your precipitant eye to Rachnios, he can work security on the treasure. This is F-Mau's loyal mercenary we're talking about here. We can trust him not to swipe the goods and lead those blue devils off the scent. And if they get too close. But I need Rachnios by my side. Well, I can't argue with that. If he stays on the ship, we'll just have to submit him to a thorough investigation. Just to be on the safe side, you understand. Wouldn't you agree, First Mate Salabuam? Just play along. Oh yes, we have the utmost faith in Rachnios. He's the perfect choice to keep your precious treasure safe and sound.
Very well. I shall abide by your judgment. Take this, Rachnios. Keep watch over the treasure until we return to Telaka Cove. But if you sense you are needed, be ready to fly to our side with all haste. And here we are, Telaka Cove.
And our next objective? This rock slab in front of us. To join a burning circle. Or battlefield in particular. Look at all this treasure. I knew a Salim Sentinel would be coming. I only hoped it would not be you, Arachnios. It truly is unfortunate. I've sincerely enjoyed our camaraderie during my mercenary career. You have my utmost respect and gratitude. However, fate decrees we meet as enemies this day. No. Nothing is certain anymore. Defend yourself. Right, he spawns shadows. He is a ninja. Then we drop Haseo. And of course his shadows absorbed that entire weapon skill. That should be him out of shadows for this round. Yep. That good old double attack doing good work. All I had to do was really hit one ground strike and that would have taken him out. But convenient shadows are convenient. I expected nothing less from you, Arachnios. Yet I cannot fail. I am defeated. But to fall to a warrior such as you, Arachnios, I enter death's hall without shame. I ask a final mercy of you, Arachnios. Will you strike the blow that sends me to the afterlife? I do have some questions. The defeated general speaks not of tactics. No further words shall escape my beak. Very well. If that is how you wish it to be. Your gentle spirit betrays you, mighty Arachnios. You're as much a scholar as a soldier. Do the questions on your mind so clamor for answers? It seems I must clear the haze that surrounds my actions. The Geshao you knew is in truth a far eastern spy. Are you shaken by my true identity? Not particularly.
I must admit to some embarrassment. This guise was meant to be flawless. It appears my espionage skills are not as developed as I had thought. It was 1 year and several months passed. I received my orders directly from the Mikado and departed the islands of the East. My prime concern was to ascertain the truth behind a report that the Empire was developing a strategy to break the stalemate on the front line of war, and to sabotage any such strategy found to exist. Thinking the enemy of my enemy to be my friend, I forged an alliance with the fearsome beastmen in the region. But, as ill fortune would have it, they knew little of the Empire's plans beyond the astral candescents and the role of the automatons. The beastmen of Autotcon were just as ferociously powerful as I'd anticipated, but their methods were brutal and unsophisticated. There were few among them in which I could place my trust. And their assault on the innocent citizens of Al-Zabi was more than I could countenance. I had to look elsewhere for allies. I found them in the form of Admiral Luzov, the leader of those abominations, and a being we have faced before in battle. But I misspeak. The Corsairs are not the abominations here. After an honest and extensive conversation with the Admiral, I found him to be a most attentive and honorable man. Admiral Luzov grasped my hand and thus said, "Let yesterday's quarrels be forgotten, as we stand together against the might of the Empire." Through his diminutive vassal, Master Flit, Admiral Luzov also promised a sizable contribution from the recovered Ephraimadian treasury to ease the suffering of my battered, war-torn homeland. Now his generous offer of aid shall never reach those shores. I failed in my promise to Master Flit. The contents of the treasury shall fall into the hands of an Imperial agent. I don't hold any anger towards you, Rachnios. You've acted out of love for your nation, and to protect those you cared about. Is this not true?
Well, since we're being honest, let's explain all.
That is an unexpected turn of events.
While I'm given leave to take this bounty, you, Rachnios, are ordered to protect it. I do not believe Admiral Luzov would play us false. His passion and valor are no act. That would leave the possibility that Master Flit acted under his own initiative. Why would he scheme to send you away from Luzov's side, to presumably be slain by me?
I believe I have the answer.
Luzov's proposed journey to the Haslam testing grounds plays right into Master Flit's nasty little claws. With Lady Aphmau's guardian off on a fool's errand, there are none to prevent harm from coming to her imperial person. Rachnios, as someone who walks in the shadow, I could imagine such manipulation from an underworld being like Flit. Your little master's life is in danger. I swear to you by the heavens and the earth, I shall not lay a talon on this treasure. You must make all haste to Lady Aphmau's side, to Hasholm. And if we go left and take the first tunnel, this will supposedly put us real close. It'll take us directly to the testing grounds. Supposedly. Supposedly, anyway. I am definitely in the wrong location. Yes, we are definitely in the wrong location. The fact that there is no map for the cove is very annoying. Like, exceedingly annoying. Yes, I do hope for a remake of Romancing Saga 3. Like, that would be an ideal thing. Or I'd definitely be interested in streaming it. Although it seems they have, for now, Square has other priorities, which is fairly typical of Square. I don't know how many units, developers they have. I know that Creative Business Unit 3 is one of the larger ones, and they're the ones who make, or at least a good chunk of them make 14. They also made 16, Final Fantasy 14 and 16. Whatever unit still maintains 11 is very small. And I know there's a couple of other small units. 3 times you have beat it. That's a lot. That is a lot. Oh. Yeah, it's not a bad game to keep installed constantly. And it does scratch the itch for a modern RPG. How curious. The fire burns fiercely, yet makes no sound. The blaze is not a Urgum. If there's no illumination, if there were no illumination of the world present, this conflagration would completely escape your mortal blade.
gaze. It is the flame of the underworld.
Oh, so that's why it's not even hot.
Stay back. The flame produces no heat, but will scorch your soul and consume your flesh. Assuming a construct such as yourself had a soul, or flesh. Great Odin, Sovereign of darkness and battle, Lord of the underworld, your humble servant Luzolf stands on the threshold of your domain.
Did the Imperial Army seal off the entrance to the underworld? The rules of time and space don't equally apply to this world and that, miss. By rights, this rent in the curtain between the two worlds, this dimensional hiccup, shouldn't even exist. Yeah. Yeah, triple digits of gigabytes is a lot. Yeah. No guarantees the game will run smoothly. That's true. Although, if the game is built with the latest builds of Unreal Engine, it'll run smoother than if it was built on any of the older ones. Well, yeah, a lot of it all depends on the game and what optimizations the team has put into it. Like, for example, to get 11 here running, you'd think would be easy, because this game came out in 2003? No. Getting this running smoothly on a modern system is a pain in the butt! An absolute pain! Like, there are entire steps you have to go through that are ridiculous. Like, older games don't even run smoothly on modern systems anymore. No. Being from either reality has an art to mend such a fluke of fortune. I see. Throwing a bunch of laboratory nasties in the path of potential meddlers was about the best they could do. Ain't that right, boss?
Silence. The manifestation begins.
Yeah, I believe the Last of Us Remake PC port had some notable problems running. Especially, I think, Part 2. What's happening? I'm familiar enough with The Last of Us. It never really interested me as a game to play or even watch, but I'm familiar enough with it. This wind. Yeah.
Afmao, are you harmed?
Boss? Forget the girl. Do you want Lord Odin to arrive without the warm welcome of his servant?
Flit, you knew this would happen.
There are a couple of those, Yeah, I remember that bit, yeah. I'm well aware of that bit. Great Odin, Lord of the Underworld. I trust your malevolence as well. Look lively, boss. We don't want to offend his maliciousness, now, do we?
Afmao, Forgive me. Art thou the one who summoned me? Yes, my lord. Speak thy mind. O great Odin, devourer of light, I wish to know the time that remains to me. Hast thou sated thy rage? Rage? What rage is this?
Come on, boss. Stick with the program.
Your rage?
Towards the Empire.
No. Not sated. My rage has subsided. Hast thou sated thy rage? Huh? Great Odin, I have uncovered a purpose more deserving than simple revenge. The descendants of Ephraimad. I wish to devote the remainder of my existence to building a kingdom in which they can live without fear of persecution. That is now my driving desire. And so I ask for time. Time to act freely.
Oh, ain't that a sweet idea?
Hast thou sated thy rage? I do not understand.
Didn't I tell you, boss? You've already made your pact. The contract is signed and sealed. You'll become the next incarnation of the Dark Rider, whether you're ready or not.
The next incarnation? The terms of the pact
are non-negotiable. But I'll let you in on the secret, boss. Before you are completely consumed by the essence of the rider, there is a period in which you will retain free will.
And how am I to fulfill this pact?
Now that is simple. All you gotta do is remember. Remember how your people suffered and perished at the merciless hands of the Empire. I'm sure the memories are still crystal clear for you.
I've had some opinions on Ellie and Abby. Not that many, but... because again, the entire storyline never really interested me that much. Especially Part 2. Part 2 just never seemed to agree with me. It never interested me, really. I kept up on the controversies, thus why I know the spoilers of what happens. But... honestly, 1 was probably the stronger story of the 2. And really, if someone is terribly concerned with something that just maintains the story, I believe the live action series is probably the better way to go about it if you're just interested in the story. To be honest, from what I've heard, it was pretty good, Season 1. I think Season 2 wasn't nearly as good.
You just gotta hurl that big venomous ball of rage at her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely games with bad graphics, but are much more enjoyable. Probably for a good example, for whatever reason. Like, yeah, there's even some indie games that are just, I find fun to play for no reason.
Probably the best example for that is the demo we played Friday. Last Friday, Locomoto. For whatever reason, that just... There was no quest line left, but just being able to circle around on the track, delivering packages, picking up passengers, customizing the train. I don't know why that just screwed into my brain and said, this is fun, this is fun. Let us have fun, just doing nothing, just brain dead, do your job, lots of fun, lots of progress. No progress, really. No progression. Yeah. 64, probably the best version of the officially of 64 that you can get is either going to be the Switch versions or the DS version. Both of those are considered probably the best Mario 64 you're gonna get. Or if you find a way to do the PC thing, but we don't talk about that here. Now's your chance. Look, she's defenseless. In any case, she's taken full force of the full force of the astral wind. It'd be kinder to just put an end to her. The sooner the better. That's right, boss. Quick and painless.
Flit. There's something I would know. This mercenary of Afmao, this Rachnios, you are certain he oversees the security of the treasure?
What? Why does that matter at a time like this? Yes, I'm certain. Come on, boss. I showed you the blip on the tracker, didn't I?
Besides, the one I trusted Rachnios, the only other precipitant eye that exists in this world is the one you hold. There are no others? Mario Galaxy did have some good walking physics, and I enjoyed Galaxy to death.
No, boss. Just the two. Why would I lie to you?
Then show me the one you have now.
You see, there's more important... just look at the tracker. Right smack in the middle of Talaka Cove. The mercenary's right where he's supposed to be.
So he is. Right where he is supposed to be. Traitorous imp!
What? Boss, no,
Code of the Corsair is not to be taken lightly. Great Odin, hear my words. Are you even hearing my words? Hast thou sated thy rage? It appears not.
Usof.
Rachnios, I must bring an end to this. Half-Mao is in your charge. She is... No. She is Ephraim's light in the darkness.
What is happening?
If this is the incarnation, I will fight until the true deity is dragged into this realm. Huh? No. Say abate thy rage. Thou shalt become my knight. Thou shalt serve as mine arm in the age of judgment, until Alexander once again lies in ruins.
Usof. Dark Rider, flit at your service. Your will is my command. Us. Usof.
I'm fine.
Your injuries.
They do not pain me. I feel no pain at all.
Impeccable.
Impeccable timing, Rachnios. Your arrival allowed me to see through Flit's deception.
Oh, Rachnios to the rescue again.
Thank you, Rachnios. Oh, enough. Aphmau, are you able to walk?
Yes, the wind blew with such a familiar melody. It reminded me of the gentle breeze that always stirs the air around Gordius. I think I'll be fine. Where do we go from here?
If that what Flit said was true, we have a short period of grace. But I suggest we hurry while my will is still my own.
Hurry to what?
To destroy the Iron Colossus before your brother reactivates it.
Destroy it? But the Iron Giant is...
The savior of the Empire? It may be as you say. But should the fully manifested incarnation of Odin clash with the iron might of Alexander?
The Age of Judgment, with the victor deciding the laws of justice.
Yes. If such laws have meaning in the desolate wasteland, that's sure to be left in the aftermath of the conflict. We must prevent this battle at all costs. After the Colossus is rendered harmless, you must turn your attention to me. Admiral, you must flee. The Immortals. Most splendid, little sister.
Rasford?
You've aided us in the capture of both the Dark Rider and a foreign spy all in one fell swoop. We don't have time for this. Have a care, Luzoff the Blackheart. Or should I now call you Dark Rider? The crew members you had hidden around Hazhalm are all in our custody. And not to mention the descendants of Ephraimah that followed the rumors of your presence here. I would hate to have to spill the blood of Imperial citizens, no matter how unwillingly they serve. Take him away. Use the astral bonds we prepared. Keep on your guard. Sir. Move. Aphmau. Empress Nishmiaria. Is this the treatment I can expect from your nation? Has nothing changed in the last 200 years?
Wait, we command you to release this man.
Your magnificence? Ignore her. Be on your way.
Does our authority mean nothing?
Listen to me, Nashmieria. You abandoned your government and consorted with enemies of the state. As Grand Vizier, I've decreed that the mark of Zahak, the symbol of the absolute imperial authority, is no longer yours to wield.
You cannot!
Your authority no longer exists.
Do you betray the Empress? Betray your own sister?
Betray you? You're in no position to speak of betrayal. Rachnios? Don't you think it's about time you told my fool of a sister the truth? Told her who you truly work for?
Who he truly works for? What are you talking about? Rachnios works for me.
You continue to deceive yourself. The only reason Rachnios stays close to you is to fulfill his duties as a spy.
No, you're the one who is deceiving himself. You understand nothing about Luzov's spirit or Rachnios' heart. Listen to me, Rachnios. You must take this to Salahim's sentinels. We all have our masks. I hid my true identity from Rachnios. But even so, he still comes to my rescue.
Shall I stop the automaton from casting? Let her play her hand. Tell your master this, Rachnios. The game is over. It is time to submit to the power of the Empire.
Don't let them catch you, Rachnios.
And so, with all that drama said and done, it is time to return not just to the bright world of Juno, but back to Adertgan itself. For after all, Nada's probably going to be very, very angry at us. Again. Like always. Like he's always upset. Like always upset. It's quite funny how often she gets upset. Too many people in Unity chat. Ah, well. There's definitely things we can do. Especially after this next cutscene. Because after this cutscene, we're going to have to wait a day. Depending on how long this cutscene is, we shouldn't have to wait too long.
And so the posters for Dussolf were removed before we even had time to...
Can't be serious.
All rewards for information. Not to mention the bounty itself.
My. My black belly. Golden, serpent, metal, imperial bounty, piles of Empress loot, flawless project.
President Nacha?
Fly, my pretties. Look in the sky. 2,000 imperial gold pieces flying away.
I think our saucer's tipped over.
What the hell happened to my perfectly orchestrated plan? What has that good-for-nothing knucklehead been doing out there? Whether my suspicion hit the mark or not, it's an employee's duty to report in immediately. Am I wrong?
A perfectly reasonable supposition, President Nacha. We may have to initiate emergency evacuation procedure 1B.
Of all the incompetent... You...
Uh-oh. I can't watch! Rachnios! Oh dear, oh dear. Can you hear me? Hang in there. $900 years. For 900 years, emperors down through history have dreamed of seeing the scattered remnants of the Iron Colossus thus brought together. For this purpose alone, we have fought in countless, fruitless conflicts, both within and without the Empire, in search of the lost condescenses. It has been an epic, if pointless, struggle. But my father had a different vision. Yes, it was the innovative Emperor Jalzan that devised the notion of manufacturing a Colossus, as well as the condescenses, using our own resources and technology. There is always a way. If you cannot find one, create one. Another one of his famous sayings. And you, Rosfod, are doing a splendid job of following in his footsteps. Spare me your platitudes. My father's idea was merely a catalyst. I have my own vision, my own path to glory. I meant no offense, Grand Vizier. How can we know that Alexander will choose to manifest in our mechanical giant, as he once infused the Iron Colossus? This is not the time to waver. It's said that Alexander only favors the strongest among us. According to my calculations, our mechanical creation has many times the destructive power of the Ajdal construct. I've no doubts concerning its worthiness. Alexander is but waiting the moment of his resurrection. Everything I've worked towards has been in preparation of that glorious day. Yes, it will be glorious. But we cannot jump ahead of ourselves. First, we must unravel the Gordius. The Gordius. What an unexpected taste of irony. Who would have suspected she made such modifications to the automatons I designed? It was an oversight on our part.
Nashmiera's mother, Jubilee, was an eccentric woman, but none could fault her intelligence. Yes, a brilliant scholar. Before I enlisted her as my pupil, Jubilee was known as in the academic community for her work in deciphering complicated scrolls of Walleran philosophy. When I was still a boy, she also instructed me on the arts of the puppet master. The device she invented to instill behavioral patterns made it simple for even a beginner like myself to make ninjing move in the most lifelike manner. Ah, the concept of programming. I must admit to being dumbstruck by her ideas. If we'd only realized how much truth was contained in her ramblings. Everything is born from Gordius. What of Nashmiera?
She remains secluded in her chambers, Grand Vizier.
Stubborn child.
Your orders?
Tell her this. If she cooperates in unlocking the puppet's secrets, I will reconsider Luzov's fate. Should she refuse, we'll have no choice but to dismantle Ovjeng and Nenjing for Gastad to analyze.
Understood.
Keep a strict guard. She's not to slip away again.
Sir.
Do you truly mean to release Luzov? Of course not. However, he reappeared just as we were completing the mechanical colossus. It cannot be coincidence. You believe there's some connection? It is possible. And until we know the significance of this connection, I intend to keep Luzov alive. But if he... Do not worry. I will not allow this underworld apocalypse of theirs to occur. All the keys to the Age of Judgment lie in the palm of my hand. I will keep him under control, even should he become the incarnation of a god. Ragnarsson appears to be coming around.
Yeah, I hope he's okay.
You're glad?
Ahem. Finally waking up, is he? Guess I don't know my own strength.
Have I ever mentioned that glimpse of compassion?
Isn't that something you'd like to say?
Say to Ragnios?
I am. And that is to say, it was all Duzov's fault. This doesn't qualify you for workers' compensation.
President Nadja?
Sorry about cracking your head, Ragnios. Now, don't you have some sort of report for me? Oh, so Duzov was really Luzov. I knew I was right. But you were collared by the Admiral and sent to guard the Corsair's hideout. Then you barely escaped with your life, and now you're being hunted. So you are afraid to report back in until the scary Admiral Luzov was caught. Is that it? For the spineless, gutless... And you call yourself a Salahine Sentinel? The Corsair's hideout.
Something wrong, President Nadja?
I thought I caught the scent of gold in the air.
But gold doesn't have a scent.
Guess I must have imagined it. Why didn't you tell me about that first? You... Alrighty. Things are moving too fast. This is not for the likes of you two. Now scoop for a bit, so I can concentrate.
What's come over the president? She never wants to spend time thinking. Hope all this thinking doesn't lead to one of her tantrums. Well, at least the loss of Duzov's bounty seems to have blown over without any casualties. Oh, I didn't mean to make light of your injuries, Rachnios. You do take care of that bump. Rachnios, I'm glad to have found you. I have urgent news. Please accompany me to Balaram Ray.
Not really. It wasn't... I never really watched it when I was, growing up. I know just enough of it to be able to make occasional references to it, but that's about it.
The divine Empress Nashmira II has been stripped of her authority, and the Grand Vizier now controls the government. Events have transpired just as His Highness feared they would. The Prince is acquainted with the current Empress, having once accepted an invitation to visit Adat Khan as a guest of the state. I know nothing of the events that occurred during that time. However, His Highness is fervently confident that Empress Nashmira's ability to navigate a righteous course for her nation.
Sir Travelates, this isn't the place to hold an open... Isn't this place open to be holding an emergency council? Aren't you worried about spies in the crowd? What if you were targeted for random surveillance?
Pleasure to meet you again, Rodin Commodin.
Oh, and by the way, I've been ordered to cease all exchanges of information with non-Windurstian agents. We've discovered some facts about the astral condescents that would knock the starch out of your stuffy Elevan shirt. Lady Karabara forbade me to speak of it to anyone. Wait, what's that delightful aroma? I think I smell kebabs. I must mosey on over and grab a bite to eat while we're still waiting for everyone to get here. Whoa. Lady Ayame.
What a pleasant surprise. I did not expect a Mithril Musketeer to attend.
Bastok recognizes the situation has grown beyond the scope of simple intelligence gathering.
Meaning?
Meaning that Strategic Command has ordered the Bastokian Navy to prepare for war.
Prepare for war? Are you not acting prematurely?
Wake up and smell the chai, Travelates. Windurst has already deployed her amphibious cardigans. This speculation is not constructive. If everyone is present, I suggest we discuss the main agenda.
I've heard no word from guest show.
Excuse my bluntness of speech, but we do not have the luxury of time to wait for latecomers. Let's get this over with.
The situation we all hope to avoid now looms before us.
Then it has been decided.
Yes. An Allied Forces Military Council shall be called into session.
Such a council has not been held since the end of the Great War.
Our main prerogative is to avoid the commencement of hostilities. As a step towards this objective, I propose an open forum for the exchange of information.
I agree. Is there anything you would like to share with us, Rachnios? You have infiltrated the deepest layer of Imperial government, if I'm not mistaken.
Conflict may be unavoidable.
This threatens to escalate to war on a greater scale than any in history. Loss of life will be incalculable.
And here we go. Yep, wait a game day and then zone. So let us zone for a little bit of side murder. We go to Feyin 1. Mainly because it has arcanas we can just knock down and murder. Let us load up a couple of trusts. Let's see, over here we're gonna need Kodomaru, Yoshim, Kupo Fried, Karukiki for healing, and Qualtada for the additional boosts. That's a pretty good number. That's a pretty good set of trusts, lacking Uranaran. Hirukiki is not the best of trusts for that, but for what we have going on, but he will be sufficient. Open up with a Meditate and Haseo. I hear someone else is murdering them. Of course they are. I know of one other location that has pots, and it's not even that many of them. And requires us to go to Delkfrut. And I really don't want to go to Delkfrut, because that one's likely to be occupied by even more people trying to get their ambuscade runs in. Even at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday of all things. It's a original area. Next page. Quitham. Now, Upper Delkfrut. Is it Upper Delkfrut or is it Lower Delkfrut? Might be just Upper Delkfrut. Yeah, there's the magic pots up here. Bloody world. Ugh. I don't know if the dolls count as arcanas or not. I'll find out shortly. They do in fact count. Thank God. They're not worth any points, but they are giving them. They technically count. Yeah, they count as arcanas. Good. Okay, and that got that out of the way. That unique communique. Oh. A tart. It's an NM who's not super tough. Should go down pretty quickly. That bat is also going to be minorly annoying. Free kinship axe. I can't complain there. What else could we do to bring him back? I've already done the Amonfro for the month. Maybe some things in Adeline at some point. Bats are getting minorly annoying. Not that they're causing any damage or anything, but they are just pecking away at me just to peck, and it's a minor annoyance. Yeah. I forgot these bats are annoying. I mean, it's not a bad place to level, to be honest. I think this is the spot you can go from 50 to 70. No, you can get maybe 50 to 60, I think, here. I forget how strong these Jotuns are. It has been that long since I've done leveling up here. I know you used to do a lower Delk from 30 to 50. just Jotun. I was hoping the other guys had spawned back, but they're definitely not. But it's almost time to be able to warp back in and get the next major cutscene. So there's that. What did they drop? Potsherd. That's not a terrible axe, to be honest. Actually, I could use that axe. That's not a bad axe at all, especially with the 2 to 3 times attack. That has its uses. Like a weapon that occasionally attacks multiple times. That has uses. Okay, we have reached the next day. Back to Untitled. Let's see, we need to go to the tea house. And I always forget where that is. I'm thinking we might go up to mission 40. It depends on how long these cutscenes take. If they take long enough to where we can easily do another day-to-day transition, that's where we'll call it after mission 40. Because that'll leave like 8 missions in the expansion, give or take. As it is, we've already done, well, we've done 5. So we might do more than that, if possible, today. Otherwise, let's see, that's the pit. We don't need to go to the pit. The tea house is up here. Let's see if I can remember consistency of voices from cutscene to cutscene. What? How? Fine, I'll visit the Grand Duke Palace myself. Rondon Comden, perhaps you consider lowering your voice? How can you be so calm? War is about to engulf us. Hey, would you put a suck in it and let me finish? You can't blame a spy for getting excited. As I was saying, Ayame has reported that the council hasn't reached a conclusion yet. They've just decided to call a recess. The council has continued long past its scheduled duration, and now this recess? Have they made so little progress? How did I know? No one tells me anything. Why don't you ask Ayame next time you see her? Besides, I'm here on orders from the captain. Well, some super secret state business? Not exactly. I'm trying to find a mercenary by the name of Rachnios. Supposed to be attending the council. Ayame said one of you might know where he is. What's so damn funny? If you've got something to say, come out and say it. Of course. If anyone would have more intimate understanding of the state of the Empire than us, it would be Rachnios. Great. Now where do I find him? Now hold on here. We haven't seen any proof that you're really a mithril musketeer. You can't expect us to just spill information on the ground like so many beans, Mr. Naji. Hi. Huh? Ah, Rachnios. Excellent timing. So here's your official summons with your name on it, in bold. Go on, take it. And my work is done. Off with you to the Grand Duke Palace. You're not escorting Rachnios to Juno? Me? I'm no babysitter. Besides, I have something else to attend to while I'm here. See you at the palace, Rachnios. Right. Now where's this place that's always under siege by the Beastmen? It's time for some action. He's off to do some assault. Or is that salvage? Or is it no, besieged is... Oh, I forget. Is it besieged? No, because that's in... Standard Vanity L. I think it's assault here in Outer God. There are so many silly little side mission activities with the one with every expansion that it's hard to remember them all. Let's see, and that's in Relude. And it's at the standard, probably at the standard cutscene trigger location. You know the one. I know the one. You know the one. We all know the one. The one that is right exactly here. Like, this was like half the cutscenes in Chains of Promethea and Rise of Zillert. Yeah, it's no longer Xylart, it's Zillert. No, I'm not happy about it. Rachnios! Hey! You're about to enter the council? Glad to see you made it in time. Right then, this way to the meeting room. But before you go in, why don't you take a few moments to gather your thoughts? I mean, they've been going at this for hours. I doubt they'll miss you a couple minutes more. Don't kick me out of the cutscene. Oh, thank God. As I've already stated numerous times, it's in our best interest to prevent the completion of the Empire's secret weapon, this Iron Colossus of theirs. Bastok is prepared to employ military action to accomplish this goal, without your support if necessary. I'm in full agreement with the captain in this case. The Empire's intentions are clear. We must not lose this race.
But if we were to mobilize our forces, we're giving the Grand Vizier and his supporters just the ammunition they need to fuel a full-scale war. The Empress yet retains loyal subjects within her realm. I believe we can still avoid open confrontation.
So unlike you, my dear prince. Your sentimental view of the situation is making me wince.
If I'm not mistaken, Your Highness, wasn't one of your agents that described the Empress's position as little more than a puppet on the throne?
Aye.
This will be a conflict of epic proportions. We should strive harder for a diplomatic solution. While I agree with you in theory, we walk a dangerous line. Despite the state of constant war, the sprawling Empire commands staggering resources. If we fail to make the first move, we could face casualties on the scale of the Great War.
Great War? Simply you jest. The carnage from this apocalypse will be far greater than all the rest.
Worse than the Great War?
You all know the Gordius, I presume. It's best we're all aware of this potential source of doom.
One does not lightly forget such an object. You speak of the sacred object kept in the Wallara temple?
An amazing creation worthy of mention. But it's not the phenomenon to which I wish to draw your attention. I refer to an event from 900 years before. The supernova that was born from the Earth and stole the night sky for an entire year, as was passed down in lore.
Ah, this I recall from my lessons. 'Twas the miracle bestowed by the gods that marked the beginning of the Crystal Era. After the glare finally faded, the star of the magnificent first magnitude became the part of the Alexander constellation, correct?
It was merely a coincidence that the supernova's trajectory passed in front of that star. The truth of the matter is more fascinating by far.
The trajectory? I don't understand.
I discovered an ancient papyrus in the extensive vaults of the Opisteri. The following was written in a script bold and flowery. When the light deity clashed with the dark, rent in twain were the heavens, devastated was the earth by a storm beyond comprehension. I must admit to a degree of shock, for the simple passage described the arrival of Ragnarok.
Ragnarok? Another mention tells of the twilight of the gods? You mean to tell us that this supernova was in fact the aftermath of a battle between deities?
Oh, you're so close to the mark. Shall I endeavor to bring you out of the dark? This is my hypothesis based on the facts at hand. The old Empire of Ardotgan launched their giant colossus, imbued with the spirit of the light deity, high into the air, and attempted to dominate the entire land. The nation that revered the rival deity was, unsurprisingly, not amused. They set up their Dark Rider, born from sacrifice and with utter darkness infused. A fierce battle raged in the skies, and eventually both combatants fell to earth, the giant in pieces, and the rider with grave wounds to his mortal form. But this titanic struggle had blasted the land to ruins, and left a void in the heavens that spawned a cataclysmic storm.
An apocalypse.
What a ridiculous story. How could an iron colossus be made to fly? And what does this have to do with the name of the Gordius?
We Tower have always been notoriously fussy about our cuisine. The name was probably heard from a trader of foreign goods, is what I mean. The name of the colossus is Hot, given to a star.
We have let ourselves been distracted by the condescenses. The Gordius should have been our true concern.
We can only hope that the Grand Vizier has failed to notice the true value of the treasure under his nose. We must bring this matter to a close.
Naji reporting in. I brought Rachnios back with me.
You're late. Where in Altana's name have you been?
Take it easy, Ayame.
Take it easy, Ayame. Rachnios, we're grateful you have come. Your insight will be invaluable. Please, describe to us your impressions of the events unfolding in the Empire. Thanks to your talents, gaining the program data we needed was far less complicated than expected. But the Empress appears to have only a tentative hold on consciousness. It's nothing to be concerned about. When reading someone's memories with my altered perspective, it occasionally releases images and thoughts sealed deep within the mind. This state of regression is only temporary. She'll recover in time.
Let us begin. So the day has finally come. That voice. If it isn't Nishmira, then who? I do not know who you are, but it appears you've completed construction of Azadal and unraveled the Gordius. Congratulations are in order. You will soon hold the most awe-inspiring weapon in Urgum in the palm of your hand, the power of light. Father? But the power of Alexander is a double-edged sword. Mother? The infinite power of a star. The legends, not to mention the ruins, speak eloquently of the destruction that will befall should you make a single misstep. It is too late. If you possess a shred of compassion, you will halt the program immediately. We hope you choose a wiser course. The cunning trick Nashmira, defiant to the last. Behold, this is the will of Alexander. I fear no legend or signs of past failures. I will carve out my own destiny. Wolfgang? Yingling? No. No!
Thank you, Rachnios. I'm sure we all felt the immediacy of your experiences. And if we can believe the words of the Grand Vizier, war with the Empire seems inevitable. I'm afraid I have to agree with you. Then the war shall be. Preparations shall be made in all urgency.
Bastok Samad is ready to set sail. Once I give the order, the seas will be ours. Are we committed?
Oh, our amphibious Cardian advance units were already given the order to deploy. They lie hidden in Wadjaram woodlands, primed and ready, waiting to destroy.
Already deployed? Was that a decision of the Council of Foregone Conclusion?
Now hold on a minute. From what I could gather from Rachnios' explanation, the Zolzov character wants to prevent Ragnarok as much as we do.
Naji, remember your station.
And the Empress is of the same mind. Isn't that right? The way I see it, there's no need to go head-to-head with the Empire's forces. If we can spirit Luzov out of their clutches, then we can at least put a stop to this Ragnarok business. We might even get a chance to restore the authority of the Empress while we're at it. Ayami, Reknios, we've all been to Watered Gone. We've seen the lives, the smiles, the tears of her people. The citizens of the Empire are just as much children of Altana as we are. War should be considered only after every other avenue has been exhausted. Nagi. A voice of reason from Bastok, the nation of mines and gloom. And you would plan this strategy yourself, I assume? Yes, of course. Wonderful. I admire your admiration. I shall offer you the latest model of Kadian to escort you on this mission. Thank you, Dr. Shantoro.
Very well. Then you shall have 2 veteran knights to accompany you as well. And from Juno, you will have our use of our fastest airship, with an ace pilot at the wheel.
Prince Tryon. Sir Wolfgang.
It appears I have no choice. I'm from the president of this operation myself.
Captain Volka. Then I should...
On one condition. Rachnios is to go with you. Will you accompany Nagi?
Count me in.
It'll be dangerous, but please blend Nagi your appearance, your expertise, and experience.
Looking forward to working with you, Rachnios. Excellent. I'll have the Persephone call.
Fermi... Fermosiel. The Fermosiel. The Fermosiel. Prepare your transportation at once. I'm sure we all have urgent tasks to attend to. I declare the session of the council to an end. May our actions find Altana's fortune. And now we have one more in-game day. Let's see if Fei Yin has cleared out in the meantime. I'm not seeing anybody. So we might have a clear shot. Yeah, and this is also like the, in particular, this is also like the third expansion the game had. And, I'm gonna tell you, the first, the base game, definitely has... You can definitely tell they were on a budget when they made the first game, the base game. And it was a lot less... They had a much larger budget for the expansions. Because even the first expansion, which was The Rise of the Zillart, I'll never get used to calling them Zillart rather than Xylart, definitely had a much larger budget, and its cutscenes there were more of them, and they were much better paced, and their camera angles were better. Like, they just had a lot larger of a budget in every expansion post game, post the original game. But I suppose that's to be said. I'd say it's more kind of. I'd honestly say it's a bit more along the lines of dot hack. If you've ever played any of the dot hack, the original dot hack quadrilogy, because I believe that actually came out right around the same time period, and both that game and this were like, this is what MMOs are like. Menu-based, kind of slow. You choose your spells from a menu. Not a lot of quick options. Things just kind of go at a set pace. I've played second Densetsu 3. Yeah, Trials I own. Like, I own Trials. I've played the original and beat it a couple of times on a couple of different characters. Honestly, I always found it very, very interesting and very fun. A fun set of games. Trials was always kind of an interesting one. As for the remake of it, of the 3D remake, I own it. I haven't finished it. Thankfully, they probably did away with a lot of the unusual things that were in that game. Oh, it has been years since I beat it. The hardest boss. What was the hardest boss? Honestly, depending, because in the original, and I think this is true of the remake, you get to choose 2 companions. And if you don't choose, I believe, at least in the original translation I was playing, her name was Charlie? The idiot little, from the Holy City. What's her face? Yeah, it was Charlie, I think it was. I'm not sure what it is in the new translation. Because it was Reese versus Lise between the two translations of the Amazon. If you didn't choose her, you were out of heal. You didn't have a dedicated healer, like, at all. Unless you chose very specific late game classes. It was very weird. The 3 severed vampire heads. Like I said, it has been so long. I don't recall many of them offhand. And I've played so many of the mana games that they do, I hate to say blur together, but they have kind of blurred together. Like, I could be mixing up Sword of Mana, the Sword of Mana remake, with Densetsu 3, which I will never stop calling it Densetsu 3. I realize it's Trials. That's its new name. For me, it'll always be Densetsu 3. At least and again, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I'm probably not. 3 vampire heads. Because really, the hardest bosses, and I don't recall having too many problems with any of the bosses, to be honest. But yeah, building up, yeah, that one has the standard building up to your heavy attack. So yeah, very inspired by that. But the other thing you have to remember is, in this 11 here, is this is the last expansion they did, was Seekers of Adeline. Yes. And that was, they did a lot of strange and unusual boostings of item levels and things. The combat system used to be less reliant on weapon skills than it is now. So much so that they've actually, with some of their latest, well, I'd say latest, but it was years ago, changes to super endgame bosses have gone away from weapon skill abilities. So you no longer necessarily build up your weapon skill bar, expend your bar. Not to mention, because I'm playing with NPCs, and the particular NPCs I've chosen, these ones don't particularly show off the big thing about this combat system, which is skill chaining and magic bursting. Because these characters are mostly buffers that buff the main character, that buff you, you're not going to see any chaining or things, but you can chain weapon skills together for sometimes max damage, which is like 99,000 or something like that. I don't know offhand. And then if you use certain skills, they also sometimes have elemental affinities that your magic casters can use to create magic bursts to deal more magic damage. It's an entirely complicated system that the game does a terrible job explaining. Because technical reasons. Ooh, that's never good. Yeah, technical reasons are never a good reason to play it, to not be able to finish a game. Yeah, I can always hope that they're gonna do more with that. Like I said, I hope they do either remake Romancing 3 or, and this would be wild if they did that, make Romancing 4. Like, if I remember correctly, the sagas, I mean, Romancing 1, 2, and 3 aren't connected via storyline, so it's like, they could just make Romancing 4. And that would be wild. I just hope they don't make, like, another Emerald, because Emerald Saga was, at least in the demo, not the most engaging of experiences. Oh, I've never played the original Romancing 2, so I don't actually know much at all about it. Ah, I finally have my healer back. Yeah, that definitely sounds like that could be a problem, but not necessarily. The question is it actually 100% random, or is it more... Or is it more speed-based? Because if it's more based on your speed, then that would make more sense and be more in line with what other RPGs were doing at the time. Which was, you know, it's more based on your speed. Yeah, if it's completely 100% random, then that absolutely would be terribly annoying. Yeah, if it truly is random, or seemingly is random, yeah. Yeah, that was a change they made in Burning. Burning is where they introduced the entire Unity attack system, which was 2 games before the remake, if I'm recalling correctly. I believe it was Burning. Let me see, I have the sagas. Here we go. Or is it Scarlet Grace? Oh, Scarlet Grace, that's what it was. Which would be the one before Emerald Saga. And Emerald actually had some pretty interesting ideas and ways of actually manipulating the timeline that I'm surprised they didn't put into a Romance 2. Ooh, yeah, that could be devastating. Yeah, that could actually be devastating if Bakum does that. They don't need to kill any more Arcanas. Just need to kill some more undead. Kill some undead and kill some time. Because this is the one downside of how Final Fantasy XI does a lot of its stories. A lot of them are because they quite literally use the exact same cutscene triggers. They stick in a lot, and especially Promethea was particularly... the second expansion, Chains of Promethea, was pretty bad about... and now you have to wait an in-game day. Great. That's true. They did definitely make it more fair. And a lot of that might come from a more experienced design team. A game design philosophy designed more around fairness than what the OG team was concerned with. Because they may not have been concerned about, you know, at all about fairness. This was the 90s after all. Like, this was the late and middle 90s. There's no telling what they were trying to do. That is true, but they also make it fairly much... They make it easier to understand and get to grips with. And learn what the tricks are behind it all. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could actually see that, yeah. But even then, it is salvageable on the lower difficulty levels if he does get a hold of you. So it's not like you're completely SOL if he grabs a hold of you. Six more undead to kill, and at least 3 more in game, 5 more in-game hours. But like I was saying at the beginning of the mission of the stream, this is now mission 40 out of a 48 mission expansion. I know there's at least 2 more major battles in this expansion. We're not going to get them done today, but we'll probably get one more mission, because that'll be a good jumping off point. Yeah, head to the stage point and prepare for battle. That'll be a good one. Kind of, the way Final Fantasy XI has its story set up is kind of weird. The base game and the first 2 expansions, Rise of Xylart and Chains of Promethea, or Zillart, I'll always make that mistake. They told a consistent storyline from start to end that connected with each other. This is the 3rd expansion, Treasures of Adartgan. It doesn't really connect storyline-wise to any of the other expansions. Several of the characters you encounter, but that you've met before, but they don't acknowledge what's gone on in the previous expansion. So yeah, technically a DLC. MMOs are weird in how they do their expansions, especially an early MMO like this. Because like I said, Final Fantasy XI came out in 2002 in Japan. 2002, 2003. So it's one of the early story-based MMOs. And especially one from Japan that's definitely a pioneer in many ways. But also, I generally would not recommend people play it. Like, this is the one Final Fantasy game I'd be like, no, that's just, most of this is just Delfrucht. Like I said, this was quite literally, let me put it this way. If they were to try and they've said this, if they try to update the game in any major way at this point, like create another expansion, they really can't, because they need PlayStation 2 dev kits and people who can program on PlayStation 2 dev kits. This game is built on PlayStation 2 hardware. And also, it's... If you're thinking this is untextured, this is just Delfrucht. It's just a very white tower. I do not understand why myself. It's just what they decided Delfrucht looks like. Like, it's not untextured, but there are definitely issues with the game that shows its age as being 22, 23 years old. Oh, absolutely. Let me show you one of the most interesting problems on modern hardware. Selbina. Yeah, absolutely. A ton of respect. Yeah, a lot of those are built on extremely tight deadlines. I've not played that particular sets of games, but I know enough. Like, I'm going to show you one of the most interesting flaws in the modern implementations of 11. And I think I've heard people who played 11 originally back in the day say this seam used to be there anyway, and they just literally never fixed it. There's a literal seam out here in, this is an area called Valkyrin Dunes. Where is there seam? Well, there's that. I mean, where's the seam? There's a general seam in the ground. You can always see through. It might just be this weird path problem. When the light hits it right, you can just literally see through the ground. At a couple of these weird junction, these vector points where these things meet. Oh, definitely. It's called dunes for a reason. Yeah, but you can see, because we're running on such high-end hardware, the render distance is so large, the tunnels are rendering before the mountains that cover them. Yeah. This is an area called Valkyrin Dunes, and apparently when the game first launched, it was notorious for its problems. Specifically, if you were like level 20 or under, which is what they'd expect you to come out here for, these giant damselflies would murder you. And also, it's currently nighttime. Yeah. Well, no one expected the game to be running 20 some odd years later. Like, literally no one expected it to be running this in 2025. In fact, here's an... Yes. It definitely was. Here's the thing. During the daytime in-game, these dunes are bright white, and they are blinding. I can tell you that the game was never expected to be working this long because, one of the things you can do in our equipment... By the way, this is a relatively modern expansion of their equipment system. It's bad. Like, their equipment system is bad. One of the things you can get is this Mog Locker, which you have to rent in game with, but you can rent it in advance up until the year 2045. It does not go any further than 2045. Like, they seriously don't have the game programmed to be able to extend your locker rental period beyond 2045. I think that's being both A, generous, and B, why would you program it to be not infinite? PlayStation 2 development reasons is what I'm willing to bet. Also, if you are ever wondering why exactly it seems like I know... Oh, this is pre-GameCube. This is early... Like I said, this is 2002, so... Yeah, definitely they didn't think of going past it. And if it seems like I know what I'm doing, I'm going to tell you 100% I don't. Yeah, weird things. It's like they never thought of it. But if it seems like I know what I'm doing, the only way to play Final Fantasy XI, especially in modern day and age. While there is a community and people playing in game, and you can always run around and ask them things, and they're generally willing to help and things, I've got the wiki open that's telling me the exact steps to do to complete some of these missions. Because, God, look at that. Look at that haze across the sky. You can see the pixels. Because some of them are bad. Oh yeah, I've used emulators for fun. Sometimes it's the only way to truly experience a game in its proper way, in a way that makes sense. Also, look at these children and their dead eyes. Look at them. Sorry, had to subject you to the dead-eyed children. So yeah, I've got the wiki open here telling me exactly what to do. The best example I have of the game telling you one thing and doing another. Well, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of Nintendo's online offerings are they're just emulating the software. It's just with an official service as opposed to not official services. I mean, also, look at the seam. It's not showing up hugely great on stream, but I can see the visible seam here. And one right here. Another right here. Another one starts here. There's another one here. Like, the texturing in 11 is bad at times. And honestly, I would rather... I've always said, if I can... Switches are not the only console that can be bricked. I'm gonna be honest with you, they all can. They all have been. It's just Nintendo, being a Japanese company, and required by their laws, they tend to be more litigious than others, because... Right, that's because Steam is from the PC history, and the Switch, being a Nintendo, from the consoles is not. Sony has the exact same stance. They generally just have less enforcing because they're Sony. They've got other fish to fry, and same thing with Xbox. In fact, Microsoft would do the exact same. In fact, have done the exact same. You know, it's a difference between an upgradable experience, like with the PCs, which can get constantly stronger and better, and you can do more things with them, versus a dedicated piece of hardware. A console is going to be the console. It's going to be the same almost always regardless. Like, it's never going to change. You can't upgrade a console. Which, personally, I always found that to be, especially with the Switch, to be a little disappointing, because they always had the opportunity. And I don't know if this was something they thought of and then later discarded. This idea of the dock actually being a useful piece of kit. Like, you'd have an upgradable dock. Like, it'd be an every other generation upgrade. You'd upgrade your main piece of hardware, your handheld. Because every other one would be like, new dock that does more features. Like, that has an external GPU in it that does external graphics. And it does it better. See, from the sounds of it, it's, yeah. Sega has been pretty good about porting a lot of their stuff over. And from the sounds of it, I don't want to say you're a relatively new Steam user, but I started back when Half-Life... Oh, it was the orange box was still around and sold in stores. Like, I remember when Steam was quite literally for Valve games. And Valve games only. Like, I had dial-up internet at the time, and it was like, what, it updates my games over the internet? That's weird. And we don't have a lot of speed, so this is gonna take a while. Hope no one calls and kicks us offline. Yeah, so that'd be, 2020. I was like... God, that'd be before college, so that would have been... 05? 04, somewhere in there? Steam has gotten a lot of games, and a lot of very good games. Yeah, the Mega Man multiple collections, the Castlevania collections, those are always good. There are just a lot of good games on Steam. Always, I can't say always have been, but no, they always have had. Even when they started opening up to third parties, there was always some good games on there. Also, yes, I am floating over the ground. That's how you can tell the game is from 2002, 2003. When your characters can float over the ground. Because inverse kinematics was not a thing. Yeah, some people are unscrupulous and try to game the system, and Valve does have a problem in that their quality control could be better. Like 100% could be better. Like, all they do to check to see if a game works is they check to see if it launches. If it launches, that's all they really care about. So yeah. But the important thing you have to remember... Oh, this guy. It all depends on what the game's built about. If it's built around multiplayer, that's not a problem. I've put hundreds of hours into Killing Floor 2. I'm not really that much of an achievement hunter. Though some games I will do that, like the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I'll go for all the achievements there. The airship Edelman is all fueled up and going through a final flight check. Are you ready for deployment? Let's go! Very well. Please continue to the courtyard. The other members of your team are assembled and waiting. Everyone except your mission leader, Nadji, was it? Oh, what's Nadji gotten himself into?
Rachnios, it is good to see you. Do you remember the king?
God, I love this cardigan. Basically, they're robots, but made out of magic and leather and wood. Yeah, a lot of the formations seem questionable, but that is the case. They can't all be 100% guaranteed to be useful.
I must apologize for my actions last time we met. I have been repaired at the monastery, and no longer being so erratic.
God, I love this thing.
As recompense, I hereby promote you to provisional jack rank.
Wow, you all got here so fast. Or am I a little late?
You are late, team leader Naji.
God, that hurts my voice. My throat.
My apologies. I brought a secret weapon from Bastok and had a devil of a time getting it unwrapped.
Secret weapon. There are no secrets among this team.
Okay. Fine then. This is an astral detection device designed by Chief Engineer. Everybody say it with me. Sid.
There's always a Sid in Final Fantasy games. And he's typically an engineer of some kind.
I don't really understand how it works, but apparently it will help us zone in on the general location of Luzov, or the Iron Colossus.
We do not require any such toy. You have access to the latest technology from Windhurst.
It's definitely a problem in Final Fantasy XI. That's the reason this is, like, taking me... Like, this is half the reason the streams on 11 can be inconsistent, is because I do the voice acting, and sometimes my throat says, you're not doing any silly voices. Or any particular voices. Because some of these voices are just... I make them be so strenuous on my throat that my throat's like, no. Toys? That's rich coming from an overgrown spinning top.
How dare you address the king in such a manner?
Enough of this prattling. We're not here for fun and games. If preparations have been made, then I suggest we move out. Ah, ever the pragmatic knights. It can be. They just... I believe the Union has signed an agreement. But I can't go into the specifics of that because I'm not privy or recalling much of that. Wait up, Rachnios. I'm on strict orders from Captain Volker to stick by your side at all times.
Provisional Jack, do not leave your king behind.
Like, it's hilarious sometimes, the technology's on display. Like, these giant airships, they have cannons that shoot lasers. Meanwhile, we have this robot made of leather and wood. But also robots made out of metal that also shoot lasers. Omega and Ultima are both robots in this game.
Do I have your attention, Rachnios? I'll go over the mission again for your sake. I've got the details memorized, of course. The Endymion will touch down in the waters outside of the Sickle Moon Straits and will travel north under the cover of darkness. Once we reach the coast of Wajaram Woods, our ground team will disembark. We will then don our mercenary disguises and slip into Al-Zabi, unnoticed, and rendezvous with Rodim Commandant,
We will rendezvous with Ramden Kamadin at Ottertgon, Whitegate.
Ah, yes, that was the name. Wait, how were you supposed to sneak in, King?
I will melt into the crowd with my master of mercenary terminology. Observe. Need tank. Please send Del.
That's a meta joke, because that is something people would do when they are looking for... when they were looking for groups back in the day. Okay. Well, don't worry, Vecnios. I've got your back. The entire games industry has gotten bad because of a variety of reasons. 10 degrees to starboard. What in the... Great Altana! That light! Yeah! I think our airship just got shot down. What's going on out there? Corporate greed. That's always a problem. No tricks. Keep moving, slug. The age of judgment is at hand. Oh no, our airship got shot down. Who would have thought they had an anti-aircraft? Yeah, that's also very true. Like, I'm not gonna tell you... Like, I'll tell you right now, I've paid for my, I pay $15 a month for access to Final Fantasy XI here, and I also pay an additional $15 for 14, so I spend $30 for access to both of those games. Oh god, no. Pay-to-win options are terrible in general. Incredible. You were able to shoot on that airship from an amazing distance, moments after we detected it. To be honest, I hadn't even made visual contact. A dot appeared on my control panel. I merely moved the targeting reticule over the dot and pulled the trigger. Amazing. I put this device together with my own hands, but there's still so many functions I've yet to understand. It's actually a little embarrassing. Yeah. They shot down one of the airships from the only flying navy on the planet. Why they have anti-aircraft already? Ancient technology. Do not let it concern you, Gustad. More importantly, we've confirmed that the Colossus will follow my commands. Did you witness that power? Yeah, Wario Land 4 was pretty good about that. We've realized the 1,000-year ambition of our ancestors. Once again harness the divine might of Alexander. Yes, Grand Vizier. All of Urgum will bow to the authority of the Empire. Our nation will finally have the undisputed peace it deserves.
Your pardon, Grand Vizier. I've come with word of the Empress.
Speak.
Sir, Lady Nashmiera has fled the palace. Again. This is like the third or fourth time in this particular expansion. Honestly, it's rather ridiculous that she keeps fleeing and we don't stop her. As per your orders, we did nothing to stop her. Which is weird, because this is like the third time she's done it.
So her apparent docility was nothing more than an act. Her destination?
We lost her.
She managed to evade the immortals. Impressive.
My most abject apologies, Grand Vizier. We have soldiers combing every ilm of the capital. We will find her.
Let her go.
But, sir...
Nashmira has lost the absolute authority of her position, as well as her two closest companions in the space of a week. Her emotional strength will be sorely tested. If she cannot overcome this trial, I fear she will not be fit to serve the Empire in any case.
Sir...
There are more important matters that demand our attention. We must first focus our efforts on rooting out the rebellious elements within our own walls. Raoban, what's the situation with Luzov?
Sir, he's being transferred to the facility in question as you ordered.
Good. Once he's been dealt with, I will make a proclamation to the people. Then the time
has come.
Yes. We shall unleash Alexander to defeat the Dark Rider, then proceed to overpower our rival nations. I assume there are no objections to this plan?
There's one small detail concerning the transfer of the person Luzov.
Explain. Oh. Arachnios. Hey, Arachnios! Are you okay? We're always getting thrown out of the sky. This happened several times in Chains of Prometheia. Except that time was because of King Dragons. I can't say King Dragons, but the King of the Skies, Bahamut.
He lives! I was about to bring out the repair kit.
You were a bit banged up, but nothing serious, it seems. Jumping over the side was the right decision. Ones that stayed on the ship weren't so lucky. I'll check the wreck for survivors. You and the king should continue with the mission. After what happened here, I don't think that we have any time to lose. Leave the wounded to me. Musketeer training includes a thorough course in first aid. Ah, almost forgot. You better take this device, King. Give my best to Rumen Kumudin.
Team leader Naji. Our contact's name is Rodin Kamadin. And his toy is broken. But no matter. The king is the perfect guardian. Come provisional Jack. We make haste for Al-Zabi.
Okay, we are here, surrounded by birds. Uh...
Ah, there it is. There's Alzabi, but it's all the way over here. God, I'm not even sure how we would actually go about getting over there. In modern Final Fantasy XI, it's just generally easier to use the warp. Go where you need to go. Treasures of Oddard gone. I don't think I've ever been to the Nizal Isle, so we might have to go there. There you are, Ramdin. Radin. Magnius! I've heard news from Lady Karabara. You've had quite the adventure already, it seems. Where's the King of Hearts? I thought he was supposed to be with you. Water in the bay, splashy, splashy water. King of Hearts? Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you. Oh, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you back in Alzabi. Lady Karabara, the king is here and at your service. Huh? The king has come with a present for you. A toy for Lady Karabara. Baba. King. This device seems to be broken. And is soaking wet. Wonderful. Yes, Lady Karababa. And I'm sorry to correct you, but you seem to have mistaken me for Lady Karababa. I'm Rounding Camden. Oh, another marvelous joke. Oh, that's definitely doing a number on the throat. Oh no. King of Hearts? How exactly did you enter Alzabi? I came in through the port, Lady Karababa. Through the port? You mean underwater? You've saturated your starfruit again. You were designed to withstand a certain amount of moisture. But if you jump in the bay... I am fully functional, Lady Karababa. For you, I would jump through fire, water, chocolate pudding. But we should be getting back to the mission. Hide and seek. Search and destroy. Lose off. Here we come. Well, you see, King, Luzov has been taken outside the capital to another holding facility. To teach him humility? Maybe I'll play the part. A change of plans, Lady Karababa. Yes, not to worry, my dear king. We've taken care of everything. Nuzul Isle in the ruins of Azadal is his new location. Azadal! We have Rodin Camden to thank for this information. This rhyming thing is so hard. How does she keep it up? Wonderful news! Rodin Camden is to be commended. Oh, too right you are. He's earned a shiny gold star. Oh dear, that was terrible. Then we must make for Nuzul Isle. Another dip in the splishy splashy water. Oh dear. We can't take the king along in this state.
He'll bring the entire Imperial army down on us.
Are you ready to go, Lady Kata Baba?
Just a moment, King of Hearts. I'm just going over the charts.
I was gonna say it's depends on what you get from there, but they haven't been as good as they used to be in a long time.
Arachnios, I'll do my best to keep King occupied and out of your way.
Unfortunately, that leaves you and you alone to seek out Luzov. You think you can do it? Leave it to me.
I knew you'd come through with us. Here, you'll need this. This is the secret route Luzov took his captors through, and his captors took through Nuzul Isle. Trevelis was almost killed obtaining this information, so don't let his effort go to waste by being careless.
Lady Kata Baba, Nuzul Isle is this way.
Oh, King, one more moment.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, I know exactly. We all know exactly what Jared did.
First, I believe I need something sweet before we undertake this chore.
Sweet before the mission?
Yes.
Yes.
Something tasty and sweet. I think I recall a lovely shop down the road.
Yeah, the Tower voice combined with the King of Hearts voice is doing my throat in. Sweets are the best for the weary soul.
Ew. Right then, Arachnios. May Altana's fortune find you.
Well, we're gonna see if we can't get to the staging point. The easy way. I think I have enough silver pieces. I don't have any silver pieces on me. If I need to grab a silver piece, I can do that, and we can wander through the underground ruins if we have to. Okay, we do have the staging point unlocked. So we've now made it to mission 41 of 48 in Treasures of Adartgan. So we've done 6 missions. That's actually extremely good. Because the next ones will be, other than a bunch of cutscenes, which are going to be a bunch of cutscenes. I think there's only 2 major fights, and the rest are cutscenes. So that will... And so, with that, I can say Treasures of Adartgon will probably be finished next 11 stream, which will be sometime next week, probably next Wednesday. Our next stream is Friday, and that is Road of Shadows? It's a demo. Shadow of the Road. Goodness gracious. Which is the demo for a CRPG, the latest CRPG published by Owlcat, who publish CRPGs, and they do a pretty good job with them. I believe they did the Pathfinder games, the Pathfinder RPGs, and those were pretty good. So that's going to be the demo for Friday. And then Saturday, if you get a chance, 10 a.m., we're going to be starting, because we finished off Romancing Saga, we're actually going to be starting a game in the series I started a while ago, Turok 2, which, if you don't know, the entire original trilogy of Turok plus Origins are available on Steam, and there's a new Turok game in development. Like, I'm kind of interested to see where that goes, because Turok Dinosaur Hunter was, God, it was a trip. And Turok 2, from what I've seen, seems to be of a similar nature. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll hopefully finish that up before October rolls around, when we'll have Resident Evil 8 being the primary game for that month. And we'll see how long that takes. 7 didn't take us particularly long, but 8 may take us a little bit longer, because I have not seen all of 8 played. So that'll be interesting. And plus all the other spooky demos and things I have planned. We'll see how that goes. But we'll see everybody next time. Till then.